it's your girl, Pajama, with the bromance or the romance. Let's go. Hey everybody, it's your girl Pajama with Pajama Life with my bros right here who also have a bromance. David, say hey to the people.
Hey everybody. I didn't know quite where you were going with that, but great to be with you. Great to talk to everybody about these fun programs. So let's see what's up.
And this guy right here, the guru of all things Marvel and Tolkien. Say hey to the people, Patrick.
Hey everybody, can't wait to talk about these fabulous shows.
All right, let's take a peek at Bridgerton. I'm all decked out.
Dearest gentle reader, we have been apart for far too long.
If a husband is what you seek, let me help you. Are we not friends?
Friends.
I should like to see your skills as they are first.
How delightful to see you all. The splendid weather we are having.
Oh, wow. All right, David.
Well,
talk to me about Bridgerton season 3 with Polin.
Season 3, and we already know it had a bit of a cliffhanger, just as a quick spoiler, that's coming back to us on June 13th. I liked this season. Season 1 was fun. It was different than a lot of things that I'd seen. Season 2 is I wasn't liking it.
What?
Season 3 was kind of fun with the dorky Bridgerton that's come back trying to be a suave pirate.
And he was.
And our favorite writer of gossip columns taking more of the protagonist lead. In a word, delightful. I actually really enjoyed it. Looking forward to seeing what goes on next. Hoping that we're going to get an invasion from France or Prussia, something going on here besides just this, it's wedding season kind of deal. Unless we get some wedding crashers, season 4, this June 13th, could get a little bad here.
Mm-hmm.
Could be a little boring.
Pat, what did you think?
Well, on this season's episode of Gossip Girl in the Regency era, it was terrible. This was I couldn't even watch. I couldn't get through the first episode because it felt like the same thing again. No, I'm absolutely right. This is my opinion. So you can't tell me it's wrong. It's my opinion, and it was just terrible. I mean, it was the same thing again. It was just this. What do you want to call it? This marketing of women here that we're just going to sell them to the next boyfriend thing again. And they're going to, oh my gosh, it'll be a big cliffhanger. I haven't even watched it. And I bet I can already predict what happens through this. It's going to be a terrible cliffhanger. It's going to be the wrong person that falls in love with the wrong person. And then they're going to have some sort of.
You definitely didn't get it right then. You definitely did.
It's just, I like my fantasy to be a lot more fantastical than this. This was just
a lot more male dominated.
Rich. No, just
we got
more.
You.
Red Sonja is great. This is more like Coachman stories after dark.
Gossip Girl and Regency area. It was just
it's fantastic. It was a lot of fun. It's also based on a series of books by Julia Quinn. So they actually. The first book was on target. The second book was on target, but they actually leapt over Benedict's story to do Colin's story. His story was number 4. So that's interesting to see where they're going to go with the different stories, because there's 7 Bridgerton children and Shondaland has contracted for 7 stories. But I think what I like about this is that you get to see a diverse kind of regency, right? And with Queen Charlotte and how diverse this story is, it makes it a little more palatable for those of us who are not traditionally English looking in these stories. So this is pretty cool. And I do like the side stories as well with Mr. Mondrich and his wife and the grand experiment of having Africans and diverse people in the ton, because not many people know that there were titled gentlemen in the ton who were from different countries, and those people came from kings and queen lineages as well. So it wasn't like, they were just picking people off the street. I mean, these people were wealthy in their own right, as well as had titles of their own in their own countries. So I thought that people don't really get to see that or understand that. But I think that's an important note, especially these days. But to the story of Colin, Penelope and Colin. Now, let's not also skip over that many times you don't see curvy women getting to be the heroine and getting the cute young hottie. So kudos for that as well, for all my curvy sisters out there. We get them too. But mostly, I think this is I love how they stopped where they stopped. Because traditionally in the stories, the love would have come, at the last episode. But they've split the season into two. So you get him with his, this is spoilers if you haven't watched it.
Oh no.
Got a profession of love at the end of the 4th episode, and you have still another 4 episodes to go. So I think the unveiling, which is not in the book, I believe, the unveiling of Lady Whistledown is going to be, I think that's great how they brought that as the second part of the episode. So I am looking forward to it. I want to see more. I want to see more of the hot love scenes. I want them to be even hotter, like they were in the first season. And but mostly this is some really good writing and a lot of fun. So if you're like me, who used to read these kind of romances as a kid, then you'll or you just like romance in general, and a soft story, and a soft girl era, check out David and I Believe. Check out Bridgerton Season 3. Polin. Don't look at that fool over there. Next up is dun, 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 dun. One of my favorite all-time comics of all time. A reboot of such, XMen 97. Are we ready to take a peek?
Xavier's sacrifice brought about a world more tolerant towards mutants. His dream is dead.
Like it or not, this is what the professor wanted.
Maybe he was wrong.
We shall not live our days wondering if we could have saved more.
Face it as we always have, as a family.
It's time.
To me, my X-Men.
So excited. I am a student of Professor X's Academy.
And of wardrobe changes during trailers. My goodness.
Almost Taylor
That's
Swift
what
there.
we women do,
It is
baby.
Taylor Swift.
That's my superpower. Well, Patrick, you are our guru of all things Marvel. Talk to us about this story, because this is kind of based on some stories that were in the comics.
Well, it's also interesting to me watching this. I was probably not into the comics at the particular time when this storyline was going, because I had children and they have to eat. It's crazy. 3 times a day too. It's ridiculous. Anyway, so I didn't have a lot of comics at that time, but I mean, I had a ton from the 80s, and then I got a ton now. And actually, currently in the current storyline, X-Men, Sinister is the big baddie right now too. He's basically destroyed a lot of stuff, and it's kind of a real interesting. I don't know if they meant to tie this into the storyline, but I can't imagine they didn't, to try to maybe keep, because there's so many X-Men titles currently being sold. I mean, literally, there's probably 10 or 15 titles a month of different X-Men, and they're all tied together in these stories. They're doing a real good job. But I really did like, the basically, it wasn't the Days of Future Past, but you definitely had a lot of throwback to time travel, because you got Cable running through it, and he's from the past, from the future, coming back, and, and spoilers, just like River Song and Doctor Who would always say, you got a lot of time travel type of things, and someone coming from the future coming back trying to say stuff. So I do enjoy the X-Men animated series. Morph was never that big of a character. The only thing I would say that was different from the comics to the actual online, or the videos that we got. So, good stuff. I enjoyed it quite a bit, and like I said, it stayed pretty close. Really interesting storylines. You got Rogue, who was involved with Magneto, and, which was during the Age of Apocalypse, which was a big storyline from the 90s. It's good stuff all the way around. Love it.
Okay. I love it. It speaks to my heart of X-Men. Although this is a much darker story than I thought they'd come back with. I was kind of surprised at the darkness of it. And but there is quite the bromance between Charles and Magneto, which was always, underlying the TV show and the comics.
In the books.
That they were brothers of the heart. And, both of them wanted what was best, but just had different ways of expressing it. And given Magneto's very traumatic experiences as a child, you could understand why he felt the way he felt. And which is a lot of children from war had to go through some terrific experiences, and terrific meaning terror experiences. So, but I really liked how they brought in not just Cable, but Bishop. They brought in, I think Morph is new to this story, but Jubilee, you got to see a more adult, mature Jubilee, as well as some new characters of Sunspot, which weren't in the original show, and Madeline Pride wasn't in the original show, but here plays a big role in the story. And so I think they've done a great job of weaving several storylines, and the end, I won't give it away, but you come across another big baddie from that then hopefully, please do not have a whole season of time travel.
With the introduction of
don't do that to me. I can't take it. No.
With the introduction of Hope, you got a good chance of going into the Inferno storyline, which was a real big deal. With that's where you get Colossus's sister Ileana Rasputin Magic, who's a sorceress and a teleporter. But so there's some really interesting stuff that could come out of that, because Madeline Pryor, there's a big sequence with her, like a big storyline with where she becomes the Goblin Queen, and it's really good stuff. I'd love to see it. Very dark, but that's where they're going, it looks like. So
I hope not. I just don't want it to be a series of dark storylines. I really want to still retain that very hopeful kind of storyline. And then as well, I want to see more of hope it's more episodic too. I want it to be episodic as well, so that you can watch them, kind of in sync. I think that kind of was an issue the first X-Men, where they got to be so many like long storylines, people would kind of lose the thread, as well as, I hope they have those episodic storylines that, you can drop in and drop out. But man,
it's much more serious. I
think, and I want some fun too. I don't want just, liver and onions. I want a Klondike bar, which I had for the first time, by the way. Anyway, David, what you think?
I enjoyed it. Again, not as familiar with the comics leading into this. Again, I just said I thought it was more serious than I expected. The animation was fantastic. The look of the characters. Then, Disney and Marvel and Hasbro have had a big push with this. So if you've been at some of the stores, you might have seen the XMen 97 figures. Storm with her jet as a really cool little thing there too. Just as a quick note, good toy tie-in in a timely way, something that Hasbro hasn't been able to do with Star Wars. But I enjoyed it. Good storylines. Get to know some of these characters a little bit better in the animated world after seeing some of them in the movies. Yeah. Really just a nice, if not a grand slam, a pretty solid triple. Yeah. I think by Disney here, a little baseball in this time of year. But I enjoyed it, and I hope people have a chance to watch X-Men 97 a little bit more. Did like to see that version of Magneto, this kind of a heavy metal, long-haired looking dude, a little different than what we see in some of the iterations. Some of the iterations, I think that the more common fan might be more familiar with.
And there is a big old Easter egg in the last episode that there was. You see, like, I see where Disney's going, and I'm loving it. I think this is a great, great way to merge the properties finally and get the Marvel of Disney Plus and Marvel of X-Men together. And maybe there'll be some more crossovers with the characters in future episodes, which would be awesome, which would lead the way to future movies with
like Wolverine and Deadpool.
Wolverine and Deadpool. Oh my gosh.
That's gonna be so good.
So good. Storm in there with the Black Panther. Oh my God, that would be amazing.
Or Thor
which
and
is,
Storm.
I think that was in the comics as well. Storm and Black Panther.
Yeah. Well, Storm and Thor. Storm actually became the goddess of thunder for a while.
Oh my gosh, I'm loving that. I love to hear that. That's amazing. But I don't know how long Chris Hemsworth is going to be Thor. So, but I think that now we have the potential to go where no one has gone before. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. And if you are interested in more in depth about X-Men, we had a chance to interview Larry Houston, who was the producer in the original and is a producer in the current X-Men 97. So go to my website and go to our YouTube page, and we have an interview with him talking about X-Men and the origins and his career, which is an incredible career. And I also wanted, I know David usually brings them and Pat brings them, but this is his comic of X-Men that he recently, I think it was last year, that Larry Houston did some of the artwork for. Mm-hmm. And so definitely, if you are a comic book fan, you definitely want to check out Larry Houston's work. And if you're at a Comic-Con, he is appearing at several Comic-Cons this year. And so you'll get a chance to meet him yourself. So, we do it big here on PTF Life. And so we need you to like and subscribe to our channel to get all of the great videos and breakdowns and interviews that may interest you. This has been a really great show. Next week, we will be watching the Indian Top Gun homage Fighter on Netflix. Memorial Day, we need some kind of patriotic kind of stuff, as well as the strangest prequel I think I've seen, Madam Web, also on Netflix. And David, you got some final words for us?
I just want to wish everyone a wonderful week. Hope they do well and get the grills all set and ready for a fantastic Memorial Day weekend coming up. We'll see you next week.
Hey, Patrick, you got some final words for us?
Well, I'll echo some of what Dave said. Everybody should have a great week. Be watching great stuff. 4th episode of Doctor Who is out, and it is the best one yet so far. You should be watching that. We should be reviewing that. Yes. Everybody send some notes and let's do this.
That's right.
Okay, if I get 10 or 20 comments about Doctor Who, watching Doctor Who, we will have possibly an episode of watching Doctor Who.
Challenge accepted.
Possibly.
The viewers. It'll come from the viewers wanting us to watch it. And and as well, definitely check us out next week. And take care. We'll see you next time. Bye.